Morning, guys. So Saturday morning here. Couple of weeks full work till Christmas, which is quite nice. You know, for me, I'm really hoping for a nice gentle run up now. So Saturday morning, not shaved yet, 'cause I'm going out tonight to sit and drink in a pub, listening to a band, which is what I quite like to do. So just doing my bits today. I'm sat with a cup of tea. No fag, because you can't smoke inside anymore, obviously, but years ago you could. I even used to smoke in bed at one point, but those days have gone. An interesting Albany Brewers last year's Christmas T-shirt that I got out. I've actually got a couple of other Albany bits. I've got the Albany snow globe, but haven't unpacked that yet for Christmas. It's still in the bag, and we do it bit by bit. Anyway, so a word on toxic customers. So, as you all know, I had a very bad run a few weeks ago, and kind of shared it on the forums, as I always do. And then someone said, "Well, you always have just nightmare customers." I'm like, well, I never shared the good stuff. So I took that on board, and I share a lot of good stuff on Facebook forums now and stuff to keep the positive vibes going, because otherwise it gets very, very negative. But this one isn't quite negative. Weird one, but just toxic customers and how to handle it. So, great start to my week. Finished off a job, looked brilliant, and I've shared some pictures on the forums. I may even put some on the Facebook posts as well. Lovely job. Customer was a diamond, very direct. Told me what he wanted. I gave it to him. He left me to it. Kind of the lady of the house snagged it. Anything she found I already knew about, and just kind of, there was a couple of very, very small minor bits which, due to drying paint, I'd had to leave till the next day. But it was fine. She felt she'd snagged it. It was good. It was a good experience. Got paid before I left. Brilliant. Buybacks. Lovely. I think I got a £5 tip, but yeah, on a sort of £1,600 job, not really worth writing home about, if you know what I mean. But tip's a tip. Obviously, it still has to go through your books, because it came in by backs and etc. etc. Tea tastes good today. So, reflecting. Yes, so sort of really started off Thursday. Had a strange customer from a side business. Got paid, did the job to his satisfaction. He was just a bit kooky, really. But then the people who'd also dealt with him, because it was part of a chain of events that needed to happen in his house, they said they found him kooky, and they'd actually said they're not going back because of the state of the house, which is fine. That's what people do. Me, I was doing my bit. Didn't bother me that it was dirty. Just did what I did. Got paid. Went home. Guy made one coffee first thing in the morning. That was it. So Friday comes along. Thursday night, I get a text from a customer. A text like at 6 p.m. at night, which I hate text the night before. And I'd done a job for her the previous Saturday. Little carpet clean. Fine. Booked me in for a sofa and a carpet. Said 160 quid. Would have taken in the morning. So I get a message, sort of 6 o'clock at night. Oh, hi there. They were moving in from somewhere else, and there was lots of stress and hassle. And sort of said, oh, hi there. We've now got boxes all over our living room carpet. We can't now get that done. Can you do 2 sofas and the stairs for the 160? And kind of my immediate, when I get a message like that, I stop. Even if they've called up, I will say, what was it you're looking for? I'll jot it down, and I'll wait 20 minutes. And so I need to ring you back in 20 minutes, just in the middle of something else, and then I can have a proper conversation. Obviously, with it being a message, I could just wait, digested what they'd said, and my reply was no. 2 sofas are more time consuming than 1 sofa and a carpet. Just how it is. Somebody won't understand this. So I said, well, look, I can't do that tomorrow because there just isn't the time. I said, however, I can do 1 sofa for 120 and come back another time to do the other one. Or I've got a cancellation on the 19th, and I can come and do your 2 sofas for 190 total. And then obviously if you've moved your box, I can do your lounge carpet then. Being really reasonable, I'm not going to go out and do cheap work because she's asking for 2 sofas and a stair, so a whole lot of extra. So she's almost asking for, if I was quoting that, generally that'd be kind of like 220 really, that's what I'd charge if I was doing that as a separate price. I thought, no, I don't actually fancy going and doing that for free. Plus it's obviously going to be a stressy environment because you've now got boxes everywhere, other stuff going on, and what I got back was, I'll have to get back to you, I need to have a think. So obviously not going to do that day, I've already booked the 19th in. If she ever attempts to book anything else in, that will be payment in advance. Simple as that. That'll be full payment in advance because it's a last minute cancellation. From now on, sadly, in the new year, even for small carpet cleans, it will be 25% deposit upon booking, simply to stop, again, what happened with the next story. So there's a furniture store in Ipswich that I sometimes get recommendations from. I work closely with them on other stuff, so occasionally get a bit of work. Woman had gone in and asked for who they could recommend to clean her conservatory sofa cushions. Recommended me, called me up. So I thought they genuinely attract a very high quality demographic person. So booked in. I said, yeah, no problem. It's £90 job, small market town, not far from where I am. So booked it in, and obviously Julie went to it yesterday. Sorry. So I'd rung her up. As soon as that other woman had cancelled, I'll be there a bit earlier tomorrow. Is that okay? Yes, that's fine. Sounded all very friendly and everything like that. So great. For a £90 job, you're not jumping up and down. Do you know what I mean? You're not thinking, oh God, I need a deposit. Turned up at the job. Guy was there, shook my hand. Elderly couple. Bit odd. No offer of tea or coffee, I noted. So the conservatory stuff was in there. The conservatory furniture was in their conservatory, which was accessed easily from the drive where my van was. So I could just go in by a back door, and I said, right, where will I get water from? She said, oh, utility room, which was literally like you come out the conservatory and then go next door and into another door. So I was like, it's a bit of a strange one that they're not letting anyone walk through the house, but that's fine. And I put shoe covers on. Whenever I go into a house, I always put shoe covers over my feet. That's painting jobs, quotes, carpet cleans, the lot. Saves a lot of hassle. Always just makes the customer feel at ease, and also you don't want to be walking dirt in or leaving yourself open to accusations of walking dirt in. I mean, they're kind of like what, £5 or £6 for a pack of 100. Some people say they're slip hazards. I don't find them particularly like that. I find them fine. You can get them from brewers with little grippers on the bottom, which I have done when I've had marble floor actually, but they're quite expensive, which they would be, but always good. So there's always a way around this. So everything so far fine. No indication of being toxic. She then proceeds to tell me how she'd had carpet cleaner 10 years ago to do 4 rooms, recommended by another furniture store. One that used to be quite good and again would attract a high demographic of customers. And this house is 4-bedroom house, detached, quite well-to-do people, very obviously. Proceeds to tell me that the guy had only cleaned the carpets with water and had been going around in his bare feet. And I said, well, why have you let this happen? The minute anyone came into my home, stripped off their shoes and socks, I'd be like, nah, get out, mate. I've known guys come in their socks, absolutely fine, no problem at all. I will say, oh, do you want some shoe covers? I'm a tradesman myself. It's up to you how you do it, but yeah, and I wouldn't let anyone come in their outside shoes. So yeah, I leave out to people who can either wear shoe covers or be in socks. Very odd. She then says, oh, we only cleaned it with water, and I'm thinking, this ain't right. There's no way any kind of person would be going in and just doing a minimal job. She's like, he charged me £300. So I'm like, right. So anyway, very toxic. She then started coming out with some quite toxic things like, well, I want to see the chemicals you're using. I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. They're there. Come into the room where I'm working. You can see the machine. You can see the chemicals. Talk you through the process. No problem at all. She kind of didn't do that. So started the work, and part of the job was she had fly dirt on the covers, which apparently she'd previously treated. So I started doing a spot, and I guess I could have done a spot check first. Perhaps I should have done. That would have eased my hassle, but for the customer, it hasn't affected them. So did a spot, and I thought, right, I'm just going to check she's going to be happy with this finish, because some of this fly dirt's not coming off and it's where she's previously treated it and she's set it. So I spoke to this old boy and he calls his wife in from downstairs. She comes in and she already to this point she'd got herself a bit worked up, if you know what I mean. No, I started to explain. I said, right, this is where we've got to, this is what you can expect, and this is what's now happening. Your fly dirt's been set from where you've tried to clean it before. Kind of my suggestion I had a couple of suggestions. I won't bore you with all the detail, but I had a couple of suggestions. You know, I needed to go through it with her a bit, because it wouldn't have cost her any more, but there was a couple of ways to go. So immediately, this was literally this was a full mental health toxic breakdown. Literally at the top of it, I just want the job done properly. Oh, I don't understand why I've booked you. Oh, why did I book you? Oh, I can just do it myself. I can do it myself. So, faced with this, and you're going to get it with painting. All self-employed get it. It just depends at that point how far you're in. If you're 3 or 4 days into a job, it's impossible to walk away. Of course it is. But I'm thinking, hang on. I've gone zero tolerance with swearing, with rudeness, and you start getting sort of aggressive with me, or you start shouting at me, that's it, I'm gone. So, I just simply said very quietly, no, I'm professional at what I do. I'm doing a proper job. I am doing a proper job. I needed to discuss a couple of things with you. Don't feel that's going to be possible now. Don't feel I want to really remain here. However, I need about 10 minutes to remove all my stuff from your house. Please kindly leave the room. You can watch me from the other room doing that, and I will just, the minute I've moved everything from the door, I can just pack my van and be gone from your drive. Very, very professional, very firm. And she started again. I was like, no, I don't like the insinuation that you're making that I'm not a professional and that I'm not doing a good job. I asked to have a conversation with you about which way to go with this, not, I said, I'm going to pack away, you won't be charged for anything, and I'm gone. So, started again. I said, madam, please leave the room. I'm going to pack away and go. That's going to be very difficult with you here. Please leave the room. You can watch me from the other room if you really feel the need. You can even film me on your phone, and I'm sure you have a camera somewhere anyway. So please leave. At this point, I've snapped my phone camera on, and I've kind of like I'm body camming it. And so there can be no argument. So she just walked away. Went to turn back in. The husband's like, no, just go in the other room. I'll sort it all out. And he then came back in. Do you need a hand? No, leave me alone. I'm removing my stuff and I'm leaving. So kind of nearly there, and I'm going as fast as I can. But obviously, get it all outside. Just finish off, and he came in and started talking. I said, no. I said, there's no more conversations. I'm leaving. I don't like the insinuations that have been made. Certainly not going to be shouted at. That's it. Packed up. Rung the high-end furniture store that had recommended me. Said, please don't recommend anyone like that again. And it turned out that they'd had issues, and in actual fact, the guy who gave my number across shouldn't have done, because they were on a stop list there. So I said, well, fair enough. I get a lot from them, so I'm not going to kick off beyond that, but toxic customer and how to deal with it. You just very much, and at one point I was just, my hand there, no, I'm leaving your home, but I need time to pack away. You need to leave the room and leave me to it. I've got my hand there to prevent her coming into my space, because I could actually see her turning quite physical. So yeah, that's kind of how you deal with a toxic customer. Normally, I suppose, had I gone there to do a bigger quote, and don't forget this is only a £90 carpet clean, recommended by a furniture company, so I do take them on. From now on, that will be, even those are going to be at 25% deposit, because with that one I'd have probably said 25, or round, we'll say £25 up front, rest on completion. So I'd have had that, and I wouldn't have, my fuel, my chemical, my hours time and all of that, so I've kind of lost. But you are going to get these toxic people, when they come out with bizarre stories about the previous tradesman. I can't leave the house on the basis of that, but that was a very good flag of what she was. And obviously she'll turn my visit into, I didn't do a proper job, she had to ask me to leave, I ruined her sofa. She will turn that around. I very much suspect that everybody else already knows her in the small market town where she is, from shops and stuff. The mere fact that probably she's had to use that particular furniture store, she's had to drive past 3 others of a similar nature that she's probably worked her way through over the last few years, etc., etc. So kind of dealing with toxic customers. If you walked in and someone was saying all of that at quote stage, do you really want the job? Because it could turn into that, someone literally screaming at you in their house. And don't forget, as tradesmen, we're the vulnerable ones. She'd got herself into a mindset of all tradesmen are wrong, all tradesmen are going to rip me off. She's obviously been watching, I don't know, these kind of cowboy builder type programs. There's one on BBC, isn't there, Matt something or other, and all of that. And they watch these and they think that that's all tradesmen. That's not. Very, very small percentage of people, possibly 1%. There's more rogue customers than rogue tradesmen out there, trust me. It does happen, and you hear some real horror stories of people, but with that, she'd already, before I'd even turned up, got herself a thinking, worked herself up into thinking she's going to have a rogue tradesman turn up. Why go for a recommendation why ask for a recommendation if you're not going to trust that person? It was a fairly simple job. Needed to have a little chat with her about a couple of things. She couldn't take that on board. I'm gone. So, yesterday lost a lot of money. And again, it's looking out for these rogue people and these kind of, the one who cancelled with the sofas, someone who's just moved in, stressy time, doesn't know quite what they want, difficult to deal with. I then went from there, and this is, you know, when I said before, and I've said in another video, I went from kind of, I had one stressy job that then led to another, and kind of I didn't watch my back enough with this stuff, because I got myself into stress, and stress breeds stress, as an old boy used to say, and I never quite got it, but I do now. So I went to a quote yesterday. Nice enough. House I'm moving into, wanted a room done, went through a few things with them. They were happy. They said, could they book in? So yeah, sent the quote, and I never book a job in until they've accepted it by email. So I said, yeah, it's fine. So I'm not going to write it in the spot. I'll hold that, send you an email, because you leave yourself open to sort of all sorts if you just book it in there and there. She had another property she wanted doing, which I couldn't do that particular bit of work for her. So I said, well, I'll ask someone I know, which I haven't done so yet. It was on my list to do today. So sent the email, sent a text saying, I've sent you your quote through. Had one back saying, oh, well, we're moving into that house from another house that we haven't sold yet, and we need some work done on that. Can we hold off on this one? And the other one, we want, the work's done that I couldn't do. I don't really have the skill set for. And the other bit was sort of taking wallpaper off, making good, painting over, or possibly just painting over wallpaper. Straight away, and that came in at 6 o'clock last night. I'm sat there, I'm with my family, I'm thinking, I'm ignoring the text. That's not because I'm trying to be dodgy or anything, but I'm thinking 6 o'clock at night. This is an awful lot of information to process. I've had quite a difficult day. I'm not going to engage with this person yet, because stress breeds stress, and I could walk into something I'm not sure about. Still haven't got my head around the text. Possibly need to ring the customer. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm not doing any of that until Monday. Just because, what's the point? I'm just going to load myself up for a whole load of text messages over the weekend. It's family time. The boy's out at the moment, seeing his nana, so I'm just finishing off a couple of bits at home. Then I've got kind of the afternoon with him. I've got tomorrow with him. We're doing something special tomorrow. So kind of family time, do you know what I mean? And I'm not going to let that client, who already is red flagging, because that age group, moving, stressy time, not sure what they actually want. Had a quote for a room, great, can do that room. But then all of a sudden wants to pile on other works here and there when I've got other customers kind of already looking to book in. So I said before in previous videos, I've already booked like a decent little job in for January. Another little job, and with what else, with the other things I've got enough to cover me, you know, like my basics. I'm talking head above water without kind of, you know, just basic bills. I've had another 2 requests for quotes. One a previous customer who probably will go ahead with me, and he will book in for the new year. So kind of it's looking good for me. Do you know what I mean? I've got that good word of mouth. I've got that good repeat customer. So this random person that I haven't met before came across as pleasant enough, but you just get that feeling of red flagging, and you'll know, you know, well-to-do, moving, stressy time, a lot of work to do here, there and everywhere, and you could be running around chasing your tail, and you don't earn money. Do you know what I mean? You don't earn money, and the thing is, you can just very difficult. And I personally find some of you'll love that. You'll be like, yeah, okay, madam. Well, why don't I just give you 2 weeks and book you in for that? I don't like that because you end up not doing the 2 weeks. They change their mind. They're flitting. And I just can't. I can't work like that. I like just nice and simple. So yeah, just sort of toxic people, how to spot them, how to deal with it if you are actually in a house, and you're confronted by it. The woman who went mad in her conservatory, she was never going to hold that in for more than an hour. Do you know what I mean? So you would have noticed it, and you'd have had it if you're doing a longer job within half a day of being there. And because if you follow the deposit ways, you can just walk. Do you know what I mean? And just say, look, duty behaviour, I'm gone. And that's basically it, really. I think kind of toxic customers is a good phrase to use. I've had a few of them this year, and it's just looking for those little flags and those little comments and those little things, and just walking away from them because they will just won't destroy your business, but it will just bring you down. Like I say, kind of yesterday, I could have got home vaguely stressed from that, engaged with this other customer who's being flitty, walked into another situation, and all of a sudden, all my drama and stress starts again because I haven't watched my back. And I'm thinking, yeah, do you know what? So I've just paused it, booked in a quote, obviously. No problem because I'll go there in a week. But yeah, actually booking work in from this person and engaging with all the text messages and all the hassle, not this weekend. And that's how you've got to be, I think. A lot of you with families and children, because that would have turned into message, and you just dragged into it. My work times really are, say, 8:30 till 5, Monday to Friday, half day Saturday. That's it, and that's how you got to be now. Did another video about a guy with the 10,000, with the big painting job. Again, that wasn't particularly toxic, but it was a guy who was a leaseholder. Got the full story. Apparently, the management company had invited the leaseholders to put forward people they know. This guy thought I would be a lot cheaper. It was a 10-week job for one person. In the town, I probably know 2 or 3 painters who I'd trust to take on there if they had time. But I rung up I rung up the guy, if you remember, wasn't answering the phone. It was kind of a bit of a red flag. He finally rang me back actually yesterday, and I had a conversation with him. I said, look, a one-man band painter, I can get people in possibly to help me, etc., but the whole job to do it without me actually getting paid is going to cost me at least £10,000. Are you able to do deposit up front and then the 10,000 with scaffolding and materials and everything? Are you able to do deposit up front and some stage payments to cover that, and then final party payment is my profit and your 20% on top? And he went, nah. He said, we are most definitely, he said, and we're not actually the management company. They've instructed us to find somebody. So I was like, no. Do you know what? I said, all of a sudden, you're now saying there's a management company paying you that you've got to wait for the money from. I don't have sight of, I won't know who they are, anything. You want me to pay out £10,000 to do a job? I can't do due diligence on the management company. It was, I said, it's too messy. And I was quite upfront and very, very polite to him. I said, look, I've got a wife with a health condition, 10-year-old son. I haven't actually got £10,000. I'll probably need to get a small loan out maybe. Possibly I could have got a guy I know, Peter, to kind of come and do the job with me and wait for the money, but I know he's got children and stuff to pay for. So I'm sorry, man, I'm just going to have to decline the job. I said I can't quote for it, and that's my reasoning why I can't actually. I think I just don't want to get a bank loan now for that, really. And he was like, no, that's fine, thank you. Can you just email me? And I was like, yeah, no problem. And did that. Just said it further to our telephone conversation. I'm not suitable for quote the work, but if you have anything smaller come through, please do keep me on your list. So kind of I've turned it from, you never know, you might have like a small something to do. So yeah, dealt with it, and I said, and also I said, you never know, a company might take it on and then be asking around for subcontractors like me, and I'll be there anyway doing it on a weekly basis and weekly pay. You just don't know. And he's like, yeah, he said, you just don't. So pleasant conversation, ended it well, and that's how I like to do it. Certainly with the toxic customer yesterday, that could have turned into quite a scuffle. Do you know what I mean? The guy could have got involved, he could have maybe thrown a punch. But by just doing that, I'm leaving, you need to allow me time to leave. Please leave the room, I am going, but you need to leave me time to get everything out, etc., etc. that worked well and sort of diffused the situation. So yeah, a bit of conflict resolution there, if you like. But yeah, that could have turned really, really nasty really, really quickly. So we've got to be careful and just remember, guys, you're incredibly vulnerable. Sorry it's a longer video, but hopefully it helps some of you.